Hey guys, this is the Lee Loadmaster press. It's a progressive press with 5 stations. I bought this about a year ago. The online retailers were clearing them out. Lee came out with the new model. It's called the 6-pack. I believe it is also a progressive press, but it doesn't have the removable turrets like this. It has the quick connects. It's a little bit cheaper to have the quick connects and just have different dies and stuff that you can add. I have found that quick connects, whether I was using the Lee or the Hornady, sometimes they'll loosen up and they'll move, and you're not going to get, if you're sizing cases, sometimes they don't all size the same because the quick connect is actually moving around. Anyway, like a lot of others, I noticed that there were a few problems with the Lee Loadmaster. One of the problems was the indexing. And how this press indexes is by having the carrier body and the indexing rod move along the frame, which pulls the rod out. You have to have everything lined up. The carrier body has to line up just right so that the indexing rod is pulled out by the frame. And the way they accomplish this is by having a long bolt that comes in from the bottom of the ram that comes through and tightens the carrier body to the ram, but allows you to adjust the timing on it. So if you take and loosen up the bolt and adjust it counterclockwise so that the indexing rod rides up and down at a nice spot and works the way it should, when you tighten everything down in that position, your cases no longer line up, the shell plate no longer lines up with the turret and the dies. They're slightly off, so what happens is as you bring the ram up to squeeze and to size your brass, it hits the bottom of your dies and stops the press cold in its place because of the misalignment. And what I've noticed is that what I've done to fix mine is that once I've aligned the carrier body and the indexing rod so that they are actually working, you want to align it so that it doesn't bind and you don't want to break the plastic. You just want enough there so that everything moves freely. Once you align that, what you want to do then is you want to take your brass and put a piece of brass into your shell plate. Don't lock in your turret yet. Bring it up until the brass and the sizing die line up. Now you're lined up, you've got your turret lined up to your carrier plate. Once you do that, make a mark or a notch on your frame and your turret, telling you that this is where the turret should lock in. I'm going to pause the video here so I can show you what I did to my turret so that it would lock in this position and not move. Okay guys, so with your case now lined up with your sizing die, you now have the alignment that you need. And what I've done is I've made a small notch on the frame and on the turret to make sure that they line up and lock them in that spot. This turret lines up beautiful, and I didn't have to take any material off of the side. But on my other calibers, on the other turrets I bought, I had to actually remove a little bit of material from the turrets to actually get them to align properly so that the bottom of the case wasn't hitting the sizing die and stopping the cycle. Now, I'm not saying every turret is like that. The one that came with the unit seemed to line up properly. The separate ones I bought, and they were all new, did not line up no matter how I spun them, no matter at what point I set them in, no matter what side I put my sizing die on, and no matter how I turned them, they just were out of alignment. So I actually had to notch just a little bit and line them up with my frame so that I could cycle fine. Now, I'm going to run some rounds through on this, some 9mm. I got to add some powder, and I'll run some through so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I don't have an alignment problem anymore. The thing runs actually flawless. I can run off maybe 200-300 rounds at a time and not have one fail. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to add some powder in here, and I'm going to run off some 9mm to show you the actual machine working. Again, these are discontinued. Lee has moved on to the 6-pack, the Lee Progressive 6-pack. I'm not sure. I'd like to see how that one operates, but again, I'm not a big fan of the quick connects, the quick disconnects. So let me get some powder going here and I'll show you this thing running. Okay guys, we're gonna run off some rounds so you can see how everything's functioning. I didn't put a lot of powder in. I'm just gonna make maybe, I don't know, 20-30 of these for now. But here goes. And I'm out of bullets. So I'm going to stop here before I dump powder all over the place. But just to show you guys that it actually can make some pretty decent rounds, and it'll keep going. Once it's lined up properly, you can run off a couple hundred rounds in no time at all. If you have a better bullet feeder, if you have an automatic case drop and an automatic bullet feeder, you could probably run 500-600 rounds off in an hour or so. It is a budget machine, but for making some plinking rounds, they're actually ideal. I don't prime on the machine. There are some issues with the priming system. I have worked around that and it actually primed real well after that. I will let you know how I did that in another video. I also will make another video on the powder drop and a nice simple fix for the powder drop so that it doesn't lose and leak powder everywhere. It's very simple, it's easy to do. I'll show you that on another video. But for right now, I just wanted to show you how to index it and how to get it lining up with your die. And even if you have to take a little bit of material off the turrets, just to line them up with your shell plate and with your carrier body. Just take a Dremel, and you want to be able to lock it in on your mark where your case lines up with your dies. And then you'd have no problems after that. Thanks for watching. If you like, hit thumbs up. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to answer the best I can. Thanks again.